doing that. Hi, I'm Dave Rutherford with Jay Hill, 17. That was a little broadcasty how I began that. Did you hear
But
that?
I like it.
It was kind of like
I
the radio show I used to do.
Could you call me the Honorable Jay Hill?
I could do that. Hi, I'm Dave Rutherford.
And I'm the Honorable Jay Hill.
17 years a member of Parliament. What a trooper. He did good for this country. Okay. But there are some messes left behind we're still going to have to deal with, Jay.
And one that we keep dealing with.
We've been dealing with this really since Confederation. That's how long this debate's been going on. We're talking about gun control. Gun control, gun control. You know, and after, of course, the horrible Danforth shootings in Toronto and the shootings in Fredericton, New Brunswick, there'll be renewed calls, and there are, for something to be done. People get very emotional, obviously, as they should, about this issue. But we have some of the strictest, most comprehensive gun controls in the world.
And yet people
Already.
still get guns and use them for
They do.
violent crimes.
And the guns, where do the guns come from? Where are they sourced? That's a big part of this debate. We live in a very unique place in the world, right next to the United States of America, one of the largest economies and one of the most free nations in the world. And because of that, we get, obviously, a spillover effect from the things that happen in the U.S. Can be easily replicated in Canada. And so, Jay, it may not be a surprise to any of you, but I don't think any more control of guns is the answer. Some cities have now asked for, City of Toronto, Mayor John Tory said, we need a complete handgun ban in the city. And I think by numbers, I'm looking at the stats, 69% of Canadians would agree with that. No handguns in urban areas. Jay, it's impossible.
Well, that would be fine if all the criminals and the gang members in Toronto would give up their handguns. They're illegal handguns to begin with.
Yep.
They haven't registered those. They're restricted firearms under our laws.
Yep.
They haven't got a license for that. The fact is that they're going to continue to get guns wherever they get them, whether they steal them or whether they import them from the United States or smuggle them across the border. They're going to still get their guns, no matter what kind of a ban or regulations you come up with. If regulations would solve this problem, it would have been solved long ago.
Absolutely. And it's interesting about our situation versus the United States. Of course, the Second Amendment in the U.S. gives Americans the right to bear arms. I mean, their Constitution is there to protect them from the government. The Canadian Constitution is to protect the government from us. Yeah. And so we don't have any of those rights they do in the U.S. about gun use and the use of guns to defend and protect yourself. We don't have that. I wish we did, but we don't. And so we are sitting ducks. Jay, we're sitting ducks. We're having coffee on a street in Toronto. Some guy comes up and kills us with a gun.
That's right. I've always maintained, though, if you want to get tough with the criminal misuse of firearms in Canada, you don't go after the legal gun owners that are trying their best to obey all the rules and regulations. You go after the problem, and you bring in some very serious time for serious crime. If someone's going to misuse a firearm by committing a crime, then make sure that they face a long jail term for doing so.
And I want to give our police the resources to be able to investigate as deep as they can about the source of these guns, where they come from. But Jay, you're right. The bad guys are not going to get a permit. Bad guys are bad guys because they break laws. They don't care if there's another law. So this whole thing is wrong-headed, and I think we're going to become victims of our own, desire to have some kind of
it just seems
weird
that
ban on guns.
every time that we face a horrific situation in this country where guns are at the center of it, there's this cry from the left. There's this cry about, we need more gun control, like that's going to solve the problem, and it's not.
And
we're out of time again.
It happens. Thanks, everybody, for watching. See you next time.
And there were so many more points I wanted to make about that.
Right after the points salad? So we're going to have time for more points.
I think a number of more points.